Sweet peppers here, I took all the veins out and everything nice and clean, no seeds or anything like that. And then the sweet peppers, red and yellow. And I have the hot peppers, same thing, no seeds. Took all the veins out. And here's those 2 onions I had, they're diced. I'm gonna put the oil in this pot here. To make it a little bit easier for you, I'm gonna measure it for you. So we put 1 cap in. Sprinkle it around. 3.5 of that. Okay, and then you close the lid on that. You put that off to the side. We're all done with the oil for now. Okay, so now, if you look at it, I got my pot here. There's about that much oil in it. Okay, and you just swish it around. Okay, what you do is I throw my onions in here. It's not cooked yet or nothing. I just throw it in there. Then I throw my sweet peppers in here, my yellow ones. Then I throw the hot peppers in here. And then the red peppers. Okay, around, just stir it around like that. And then I get the salt and pepper. How much pepper I'm using in there. Okay, and then I get some salt. Okay, put the lid on it. Put the stove on. Around 8. So we let that cook and we'll be right back. Okay, right now you can hear the onions and the peppers cooking, steaming right down. You gotta make sure you stir it because you don't want to burn it. You get a picture of that, Jen, inside there?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Okay, so you just stir it. I got the fan on because you're gonna smell all kinds of fragrances, and a lot of people like to put the fan on so it goes outside. Right, Jen?
That's great.
Okay. So we let that cook for a while like that, and they gotta get basically cooking for about 5 or 6 minutes till they get soft. I got a kettle full of water. You can see where the water level is on that. Probably not gonna use that much water, but I got it cooking like that, boiling like that. I'm stirring this, so we wanna make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. All the oil's going all over everything, which is really nice. Always put a top on it because it steams it that way too.
Again?
It's been cooking for about 7 minutes. You can see it like that, right? It's getting really soft now. That's what you want. Okay, so you turn this down a bit, right? Go down to around 4. Around 4. That's called medium. Half of what you had. You just stir it around. Now what you want to do now is get some cayenne pepper, about half a teaspoon, and then just stir it with the wooden spoon here so it all comes off the spoon. Now we're going to put the paprika in. Slide this close there, right? Good heaping. Good heaping, just stir it around. You got a picture of that, Jen?
Yep.
Okay, another heaping. Stir it around there like that. And what you do now is you stir it around like that. You can see it getting red. That's what you want. I want it a little bit more redder, so I'm going to have 1 more of these. 1 more heaping.
A paprika.
A paprika, yeah. Okay, and just stir that around. You can see it, right? All the juices in that is kind of thick now, right? Now what we're going to do right now is get my boiled water. Stir it around. You're going to have to add some more water. You just want to stir it around first. That's perfect. Yeah, just cover the vegetables, and it's about, if you look at it right now, there's about a quarter pot here of juice in here. Let that cook for a few minutes. Just get rid of this, and I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. See how nice and red that is? That's really flavorful there. So you know, make sure it sits for about 5 minutes on low heat like that. And then you just stir it a couple of times. Put the pot on it. Lid on the pot, I should say. And turn it right down. 1.2, that's really low heat. The 400 degrees. Okay, now this has been cooking for about 5 minutes. It's on low heat right now. Now's the time we gotta dump it in the pot. See how clear that is in there? All the white's gone. You just see the oil in there. The cooking spray. Dump that in there. I grab my chicken. It's been washed off about 2 or 3 times. Now I have to grab my salt shaker. This is very important when you're doing this with the salt shaker. So you slide this over a little bit, slide this over a little bit. Now you rinse the chicken off. Rinse it off good. Hold it up by the leg there. Let the water drain off it. Slide that over a little bit. Water's not on it. And then you salt it. Salt it good. You salt it, put it in here. Brought my chicken over here on the stove. I got my plum tomatoes, Primo, or you could use Elmer tomatoes. Both are really excellent tomatoes. I got my spoon here, and what I do is take the tomato off here and you just put it around. You don't want no juice in there, just the tomato. So now you just put the top on and you wait for the oven to get 400 degrees. Okay, so the oven's at 400 degrees right now. Put this in the oven. Okay, now it's got to cook for about 1.5 hours, 4 legs, right at 400 degrees. And then half that time you take the top off, check it, baste it, right? And then you take the top off with about 20 minutes left in cooking. Bowl, and you make the dumplings. I got 3 cups of flour right here. 3 cups of flour. What I'm going to do is get some Crisco oil, and I'm going to add two of these in here. 1, 2. Okay. Now I'm going to get some salt. I'm going to add quite a bit of salt to this. That should do her. Okay, now I'm going to have to add eggs to it. I got 4 eggs. Okay. Now, a lot of people would mix it up, but I don't mix it up. I just dump the eggs and everything in there. So that's 4 eggs in there, 3 cups of flour, and salt, and capfuls of oil. Mix it all up. It's 1 cup of milk here. This is 2% milk. You use 1%, I like 2%. Dump it in there. Stir it around. Now you gotta pick the bowl up like this, hold it in one arm like this, and you gotta beat it. See how thick that gets? Now what I always like to do is I like to get the milk again. I don't measure that, I just pour a little bit on top. Just like that. That'll be enough. Make sure when you're doing this, you don't put it on top of the stove. You put it on a cold counter after that. Let it sit for a couple minutes till the water boils. Spices, all kinds of flavor in this pot. So there's no meat been cooked, just vegetables. So what I do is I'll put it over to the sink, got the cold water running, I'm gonna boil my noodles in this. Over here, put it on high heat and let it boil. The oil, just put a little dab of oil in here and that'll be it for the oil. Just a dab. See it? Okay. There we go. So you let that boil, and while it's boiling, when it's getting ready to boil, you just beat this again. You gotta make sure you beat it pretty good. Okay. So for the cucumber salad, I got 1 cup of vinegar in here. 1 cup of vinegar in this little bowl. Okay, and I got some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I'll just put a little bit in the cap. About 3/4 of a cap. You just put it in there like that. Okay. Now I got 1 cup of sugar. Put 1 cup of sugar in here. And stir it. You can see it's like, basically it's kind of cloudy white. It's not as cloudy anymore. Usually I put the whisk in there. Okay, now here's what you do to taste it. You get 2 spoons. Put 1 spoon in here. That's your tasting spoon. It's perfect. Sometimes if I want to sweeten it a little bit, I don't add sugar, I'll add sweet 10 to it.
Sweet and low?
Sweet and low. But I don't need any of that right now because it's 1 and 1. It's perfect. A little bit of oil. It's good. Now I got my cucumbers. Put my cucumbers in here. And now I got my onions. My onions are not that many onions, just a little bit of onion. You don't need much onions. Now you could do with this with tomatoes and purple onions. It was really good. You quarter the tomatoes. You make a tomato salad. If you want to put cucumbers with your tomatoes, it's perfect too. It's a nice summer thing with nice fresh tomatoes. You let that stir for a while. Mix it up a little bit. Let the cucumbers soak in that sauce. Now, you put some saran wrap on it and you throw it in the fridge. We're done. This has been sitting out for about 15 to 20 minutes, right? I've stretched it out a little bit because I made the cucumber salad in between that. Now the water, you can see the water is boiling. So you want to make sure if you put it on the stove like I am, make sure you use a doily here so it doesn't warm up the bottom of your bowl. So you just beat it a couple more times. I must have beat it about 3 or 4 times in between before this, right? So you can see it's nice texture to it. So what you do is you get 2 tablespoons. Just like that. And you grab your tablespoon and you just stick it in the water just like that. You see the way I'm doing this up here?
Yeah.
Okay. See, it's not runny at all. It's like doughy. That's what you want. So you put so many in there. I got maybe around 10 in there or whatever, right? You let it cook for a while. And then you use this spoon here, right? And you just let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes and you just move it around so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Then I just keep on adding to it, make sure, and then let it sit there for 5 minutes and stir it so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And then it'll eventually float to the top and then it'll be ready. Yeah, it's cooking good right now. What we're gonna do right now is 640, so I'm gonna baste the chicken. Get rid of this top, put it in the sink because it's hot. I usually like to baste the chicken on top of the stove, so I'm not good at rating the oven itself. Right? So what I usually do is I get a spoon, big spoon like that, and I just go over top of it. I like to go over the tomatoes too, so they don't dry out. It's good. Put that back. I always use like a can here. When I cap the can of tomatoes, I put all my utensils in there. Okay, so then I open the oven again. Now we're gonna throw this in here for about 20 minutes. It's gonna cook. Then we'll get back to it. Now these are almost ready to take out, so you can put another batch in. So when they start floating like this, you don't have to leave them in long. That's only been in there for about 6 minutes. So when they get fluffy like that, and you can feel them, they're kind of solid, that's what you want. So I just drain it here and I put them right in here. I got another pot underneath this to catch the water. Okay, there's the dumplings. They're all cooked now. It's 6:56. I'm gonna take a look at the chicken. I'm gonna pull the chicken out. Now you're starting to see it get a little crispy. That's what you want. You don't want it burnt, you just want it crispy. The pot, I cooked the noodles in, I rinsed it out. So now we're gonna put the juice in here. Just baste it one more time really quick. Just dump the juice in there. I don't put the tomatoes in there. I don't mind the onions in there a little bit. Now I'm going to throw the oven down to drop in temperature. I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to put the oven back on. Put it on bake. I'm going to put it on 300. Okay, so basically I'm going to let that sit like that for a couple minutes and I'll throw it back in the oven. So now I put this burner on. I put it around number 8. Lucky 8. Chinese like number 8. Right, Mom?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now is let it warm up. And then we're going to throw some dumplings in there.
And it doesn't take long because it's already hot, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take long. You see it's starting to boil right now. That's what you want. So what you do is you get some dumplings, throw it in there. There we go. This is the same spoon I used to do the vegetables with. Just stir it around. I just like to baste this again. Now what I'll do is I'll just throw this in the oven. Oh, it's 300 degrees. So it cooks very slow. So in there. Okay, what I like to do is I left the paprika out. I like to add a little bit of paprika into it, give it some more color, more flavor. Even with the ladle, sprinkle it around. Get a nice red color. To thicken up. This is the way your mother likes the dumplings, like this. It's nice and thick, and I always like to I like them both, but I like the ones with sour cream. So when it gets too hot like this, you can turn down the heat a little bit, because now you can see it really starting to thicken up. You got to really stir it because you don't want it to burn on the bottom. So I turn down the heat a bit. Get that color in there, Jen. See it?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, it's ready. Take it off the burner, just like that. You get a dish. Now I put the burner on. I'm gonna have the stove on. I'm gonna put it right on low, lowest it goes. There's Mom's dumplings.
They look delicious. So about 4 heaping spoonfuls of it?
Yeah, about 4 heaping spoons. Now you can see it starting to blend in, right? You do beef stroganoff like that too, with the sauce like that, with beef in it, with the sour cream. You just cook the noodles. Excellent. You know how to do the base. You can do so many things with it now. I like to add a little bit more sour cream to it. I like it a little bit runny, but not too much. So another good heaping. 2 heapings. That's good.
I was gonna say that. It's more like 2 heapings.
Okay. There you go. Now you got a nice sauce to that. See how that that looks nice, huh?
Yeah.
That's the way you want your dumplings. Okay. Now it's time to get the chicken out and it's time to eat.
So you got browning on top. Okay, so here is Mom's with her dumplings and her salad. And here's Dad's with his dumplings. He put some of the onions and the peppers on top.